What is going on, everybody? I am JD Tierney, owner of Southpaw Laser Concepts and founder of Southpaw's Tales with the oh my god! My mouth was in fast forward for a moment there.
And his brain's in slow motion.
Yeah.
He is the owner of Southpaw and the founder of Southpaw Tales from the Barstool. And I'm his funny and hot wife, Kat.
As you see on the screen, La Funny Bonita Chica.
Oh my God. I'm going to start with a funny anecdote. Just right now, I got home from work and I was upstairs putting on lipstick for the show. And our 5-year-old asked me what a Muppet would poop. And I said a hand, and he was appalled. He went, oh! I thought it was very clever. My 5-year-old doesn't quite think I'm as clever, but hey.
That is brilliant. So tonight, we're going to bring to you actually our first married couple that we've ever had the opportunity to interview and hang out with on the podcast. It's going to be Gene and Natalja Sticco. He is a former Air Force member, security forces, turned C.I.A. agent. She is a Latvian opera singer, and there's all kinds of crazy shit we're going to hear about later on about that. Now, with it being a spy and
007
and the whole quintessential, Eastern European beauty queen, we gotta go with a martini. So tonight,
another one.
Yeah, we're pre-gaming, so this is going to be a hell of a shit show. Righty, so. Whenever you're doing a martini, you want to chill your glass. So you get some ice, put in there, a little bit of water in there. So that your glass is chilling while you're making all of your
You're so fancy.
mixing.
You're chilling the glass?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's just adorable.
Put your ice in your mixer.
You're only making me one?
Yeah. As I said, we pre-gamed. It's gonna be a good one tonight, guys. We're using Tito's, which is made in Texas. Tito's vodka. We're not paid to say that. It's just the one we prefer in this household. So, and I didn't know she already had a bottle, and I went and bought another bottle today. So, bonus for her. So it's 2.5 ounces.
Oh, that's a cool sound.
I love when it does that. The recipe calls for a half ounce. She prefers a little bit less, so I'm just going to put probably about a 1/4 ounce of the. She prefers the sweet vermouth.
Hi, Mark. Hi, Misha. Hi, David. Lindsay. Hello, gorgeous.
And then your olive brine. Oh my God. Yeah,
I like a lot of brine.
Okay, we're out of brine, so.
Oh.
You done blew your wad on one.
Well, thankfully, Specs and other liquor stores, you can just buy olive juice in a jar, like a big old thing of olive juice. So
straight up Bond style, shaken, not stirred. Which whoever orders a stirred martini is just, you're autistic on so many levels. And that was super PC.
All right.
So you dump out your chilled glass.
We're offending the Special Olympics and everything today.
And
woo!
Look at that. Perfect pour every time.
Now we get to watch JD take a sip of it. This is the best part.
I'm not a martini fan. However, it is.
Y'all, I'm going to try to behave myself today. But some days I just love me some JD. Today's not one of those days. So I'm going to try
She doesn't love me today.
I don't love him as much
So
today.
let's
There's
see.
some days I really love him, though.
It's delicious.
Raise your hand if you believe him. Literally nobody.
So I know a lot of you have already done it. Just real quick, if you haven't, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give them permission to see your Facebook profile. Otherwise, we can't see who's talking.
Nope.
Those of you, I've seen Mark and a few other people already.
Before we move on to sponsors, it's on your list, man.
Yeah, it's on my list. We are doing a giveaway as soon as we get to 1,000 members in the group. We're giving away some hats that are branded for Southpaw's Tales from Barstool, and
look,
lovely.
These aren't even for sale, people. This is the only way to get Southpaw Tales from the Barstool swagger. So if you want it, get those friends accepting our rules. We have over 700 people who have been invited, but they won't accept the rules. Accept the rules.
And I'm not letting you in unless you accept the rules, because I'm tired of
rules.
Facebook groups getting zucked.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
yeah. So we got to get to our sponsors so we can get our guests on because they're sitting backstage in the virtual green room. So we're going to start off with the Legion of Loan Officers, who's founded by Air Force Security Forces veteran Nick Carpenter, a great dude. He's got a book that helps you get lead generation, and not just leads, but how to actually convert them to where they turn into revenue. You can get it at loanofficerstrategyguide.com, facebook.com/Legion of Loan Officers, and they have some really good live streams. If you're in any kind of sales position, even if it's not real estate, I use a lot of that knowledge from my business. So it's a great stuff to look forward to. The next sponsor is Gunner Gray Furniture Fusion, founded by John Oda. It's professional custom woodworking, created beautiful bespoke furniture, kitchens, and built-ins. You can reach him at 508-847-1390. You can get a hold of him at gunnergray.com, at Instagram at gunner_gray, Facebook at gunnergrayff.
That's where my lottery winning is going to be.
Oh yeah, he's going to make lots of money off us when we win the lottery. The next sponsor is the Soldier Girl Coffee Company, founded by female Army veteran Carrie Beavers. It's a lot of CBD infused coffee, and there's a lot of it that on the back end goes to charity and raising awareness for wartime vets and also all kinds of other stuff. But it's CBD used,
a lot of it. It's good.
Yeah, CBD infused French vanilla cream, CBD infused snickerdoodle, CBD infused 100% Colombian, and then they have a non-infused 100% Colombian coffee. You can find out what.
Have you ordered mine yet? The snickerdoodle?
No, I need to.
Gosh, you had one job.
No, I had lots of jobs.
The other 1,000 jobs I gave you.
I work all the time, and my honeydew list gets bigger the more I do of it. It's fucking crazy. So you can find the Soldier Girl Coffee Company at sgcoffee.co. That's co, not com. Don't go to com because it won't work. You can also find her at Facebook at Soldier Girl Coffee Company. And then our final sponsor is the Warhorse Legacy Foundation, who has not PTSD horses because the horses do not have PTSD. They are there to help the guys and gals that do and their families.
And communities.
They have programs anywhere from a 30 to 90-minute ride all the way to teaching these guys how to train horses and work with horses in the future.
Recenters their brain into something that takes the focus off.
It gives people a new mission. And but they're always looking for people to help spread the word, take advantage of these programs, as well as donors, because they are a nonprofit. You can get a hold of them at warhorselegacy.org, facebook.com/warhorselegacy, or you can call them directly at 479-634-2119. Holy shit. That was the first time I ever got through the sponsors without screwing up. Yes.
Okay, you couldn't even make it through Tales from the Barstool
I
without screwing up. Don't pat yourself on the back and break your arm.
I couldn't say the name of our own program, but I get the fucking sponsors right. Jesus.
Good for you, sponsors. You're apparently more important than the show now. All right.
And, if you are watching, make sure that you share the stream right now because we are bringing on Gene and Natalja. So bring them on. Miss Mouse Lady.
Woo! Unmute.
Add to stream. Add to stream.
I don't know where
Add to stream.
Oh, got it. I got it. Move.
There we are. All right.
So welcome.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having us. And I wanted to get this out of the way. Cat, Nat, cat, Nat.
Like nice her shirt. Does this say "Trust me, I'm a Russian spy"?
Actually, that's Gene's present, and he gave me a couple of days ago, like before we even knew we would get on your show. And like, I was looking for an outfit, and I figured out this would be like the perfect mate for today, right?
That is amazing.
Serendipity at work.
And for some reason, we just lost the live broadcast to the actual, the Facebook page, Tales from the Barstool. I wonder if we had just been zucked.
Probably.
Maybe they triggered some of the words, the spy or the CIA and Facebook algorithms.
Because I said you were a Russian spy. That's what happened. And then we just got zucked. That's what happened.
Just lost.
That's the funny thing. This whole machine learning algorithms work probably. They are triggered on some sort of.
All right, hold on. I'm just looking. I kind of see on there, but.
Yeah. It went. I don't know. It might be okay. I can still see it.
We're going to go ahead and move ahead or keep moving forward. And I'm going to try and screw with that in the background. So I'm going to need about. So
Lindsay says CIA is watching.
Everything.
We're doing good.
Yeah. So let's see.
That's right.
So,
But you were CIA. Shouldn't you make a phone call or something?
Yeah, I mean,
Just text somebody.
You make it. I mean, not that it's not sexy, but you make it. It wasn't an agent. It was more. It was a crossover role, contractor role, with some of the work I was doing in the civilian side. So I just don't want that nomenclature of agent isn't technically correct. So just for clarity's sake.
I don't want to brag or anything, but I was privately contracted by the CIA. That's pretty
Pretty much.
There's no good way to
because that means you're getting paid more than the agents are.
so, what was that?
I have no idea. Oh my.
I'm having.
Wow.
Dude,
This is all kinds of issues going on.
It's still playing. Leave
Well,
it
it's
alone.
not. It's not playing on the face on the.
I'm
group.
watching it on the Facebook. That's
Is it
Tales from the
live?
Barstool. Yes. All right, we're gonna.
All
move
right, we're going on.
All right.
We're moving
So
forward.
much going.
Oh my goodness gracious.
All
All right. So first of all, so you're an opera singer and you worked for the CIA. How did y'all?
I'm retired now.
Okay. So how did y'all meet? How does that happen?
Well, I was actually at the time I had my own company doing contract work with the government in as a veteran owned a service disabled veteran owned small business. Obviously, when it comes to government contracts, there's a lot of set asides. So I was sort of working with other private military companies who were contracting with the State Department and the Department of Defense and such. And also part of a small security technology company that was doing some work with NASA. And we got to the point of needing, and as part of that group, I was back over in the Baltics, Lithuania and Latvia and Estonia, doing some interface, reconnecting with old clients and things like that again in the state intelligence services and the state security agencies and things like that. They were interested in possibly in some of the technology that we had. And while I was there, we needed to, because of all this sort of bandwidth that was involved with it, we needed data centers. So I started looking around for data centers in Latvia. And though I didn't find one, I found the company. So Nat's also an IT engineer who works in artificial.
That's my part-time gig, as I say,
Day
Not
job.
really. Day job.
So yes, it works in artificial intelligence and robotics.
That's just a side gig.
As a side gig.
I work on robotics, but I'm an opera singer on the side.
Right.
Yeah. That's
I'm
like
sorry, I need to wipe it up. I'm sorry.
It's so friggin' hot.
Oh,
I'm sorry. That's
like
just
the-
not the best
like the
cloth,
dog's
just
toy.
our dog. We tore it apart.
Yeah, so while I was there, so I reached out. It was one of the larger companies there. They were doing a lot, it seemed, cloud servers. I reached out and got connected with her because she was basically the only one who spoke fluent English. And then we started talking about karaoke and went out to karaoke that night, and I haven't left since.
And actually, he tried to impress me. He was saying, and I sing very well in karaoke. And he back then didn't know that I was an opera singer also. And that's why he was thinking
matter.
he would
It's karaoke.
impress
That's
me.
a
And I
whole
was like,
different
okay,
skill
please
set.
tell me to karaoke. I don't mind. I was like, show
Please
me
tell
what
me he got on stage first and then you blew him out of the water.
Pretty
Is
much
that
right. No, but he's saying he's like no, but he has like a song which knocks down everyone because he sounds exactly like Bobby Darin, and that's
I
why
didn't do that one.
No, actually, you did this one first. You did Make the Knife first.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
You see, we don't even remember. So I remember this song because I think like that's the best, like in his
I'm
repertoire.
not being biased, but I believe Nat.
I guess if anyone would know.
Gene.
No, you don't.
Because
So
bros before hoes and all.
that's right. That's
Sisters
right.
before misters.
Yes.
Sorry, I just probably misheard. Like it's like it was
You
an
don't know
echo.
Bros before hoes.
Nope.
You don't know that?
No, you see, I'm like a stupid Eastern European. I don't
it's
know
like
stuff.
you see, this is what I love because she's
It's
there's like
like
so many colloquialisms that
right.
she's learning.
I'm
friends are
actually
more
learning
than
things.
ladies.
Yeah.
Like you've
Yeah.
learned douchebag since you've been
Douchebag, I
here
learned.
that you like.
I learned today a couple of corporate slang which I have never heard before, like white gloves or whatever it's called,
White glove
right?
service.
So
yeah, yeah.
honestly, I often, like, even being in the company and being European, I have to double check what people mean, and that's why I want to be like the bad girl who says please no colloquialisms because I mean misunderstand what you are saying, so that's why I just double check with Jean always.
Oh no, it's perfect. So douchebag, so you're halfway there.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
what is the craziest thing that gets lost in translation from what you learn?
Yeah,
and,
what's been
and
the funniest? Gene,
like where
that's
it's
been like, oh,
I know this is like Jean's favorite one, and there is like a Russian analog of that, but it's translated a bit different. So busting balls, right? so so this was like, and this is actually like my favorite now, and like I'm sometimes working very hard with myself and on myself not to tell it somewhere in public, like in the crowd, which will not understand. Like, look at that on me.
But like translation wise, was there any that's,
Translation?
I'm trying to think. I remember one from, just in general. It was in Lithuania, and I had so they had given me a permit, for a gun there. And my boss was like, I want one too. And I'm like, look, it was hard enough. They pulled quite a few strings that I could carry one. Never mind that. And he goes, well, what about getting a BB gun? And all the secretaries, start laughing, and they're like, what? And he goes, a BB gun. And they're like, what is that? And he goes, a BB. It's like that big, little round, and they're, now bursting into tears. And it turned out in Lithuanian, BB is slang for penis.
oh no,
So-
no, this was big. It's so
He's
cute.
like, yeah, just this, little round thing like that. And that was,
little round BB and
yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's
So-
like if I say anything about JD's tools and I'm like, oh, it's so little, it's adorable. Apparently that's emasculating. Who knew?
Yeah, don't emasculate my tools, damn it. They're rugged and manly.
And sometimes they're cute and adorable.
But like if I look at that from Russian, it's actually a compliment, so like it's like a gun, so it's like not very offensive. So that's like the difference between, like, for example, Lithuanian and Russians in general, because if you say somebody's is like a gun, that's like, means you're telling something nice.
Yeah.
So you never know.
We've got one of our guests that says that she went to Belize her senior year as an exchange program and wants to know where you're from.
I'm from Latvia, so that's a neighborhood country. But my ex-husband's parents, who I'm still in excellent relationship with, and actually Jean also has been to this place. So they have a brilliant countryside house on the border with Belarus. So literally, that's the place.
It's like
and
2 kilometers.
like 2 kilometers. And like what is like so fascinating about Belarus? So that's like one of the major places where you can get smuggled cigarettes from, and that's like
Black market cigarettes, 75 cents a pack.
Right. And the thing is, like, so here, as far as I understand, Senecas is pretty much the same thing. So people go to New
The
York,
Indian
they buy
reservations,
Indian
yeah.
reservation, and there is like Belarus or Russia where people smuggle cigarettes from, because in European Union, and Latvia is a part of European Union, like the things are pretty much expensive, and yeah.
Hey,
Okay,
we used to go to Mexico to buy cigarettes
Oh
because
no,
they
I
were
was
so
going to
much
say
cheaper.
that when I was
Right.
Come across.
when I was in college, we lived in a dry county, and we'd have to go over the county to get alcohol. So same thing, we had to smuggle it into our dry county.
That's it.
But the more.
I'm gonna have to Google the kilometer to miles conversion.
It's just 2 kilometers is just over.
Yeah.
Was it like 1.6?
Yeah, like a mile and a half.
Yeah.
I work medical. I can do like kilograms to pounds, like super easy. Like I've got that on lock. But the miles to
The rest of the world just needs to get on board and go imperial.
Oh
right.
my god, that is terrible. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I'll tell you even like the truth, when I have to cook something and I have the recipe in grams and in kilograms and everything, I always have my calculator in the store just to translate. I don't, and I have tried like to switch, but looks like no, like if your childhood was spent over like all this normal empirical, I can't say normal, okay, just,
That's true.
so I didn't want it to offend
what
like
you're used to.
American, yeah, just like you're used to, like it's very difficult to switch, honestly.
Yeah, because most of the time we don't even go by ounces. We go by like teaspoon, half a
Right.
teaspoon.
That my CAD software for my laser is all in metric, and so I always have to keep an extra tab open on my computer to convert from millimeters to inches and just punch in the numbers, because I'll be damned if I'm going to sit there and work on it.
That's
True.
right.
So not the only one, thank goodness,
Oh, and just to remind everybody, whatever you're drinking, go ahead and share it with us so we can post it on there. I am drinking a martini, as you know. They're drinking cooking wine.
Right, that's true.
It could be cooking wine. It's the
Cooking wine.
the
It's
barefoot Pinot Noir, vintage 2 weeks ago.
So the story, like that, very short. You all cook with measurements. Yeah, I am. Like the thing is, like I'm afraid to screw up. So I know, like there are people who are very sensitive and who like just make things up from their brain. So I am very, very careful about recipes. That's probably my.
And that's why she.
But
That's why she needed the wine. She was cooking yesterday. I'm like, just don't bother measuring.
Yeah, just pour it.
Do it by
Does it
taste.
feel right? Is your elbow getting heavy? Lift it up a little.
Right.
I use my great grandmother's measurements. You know, a smidge, a pinch,
Yeah,
a dash.
Right.
Yeah, that's how my
a
grandmother.
light dusting.
Yes. Well, I don't know about dusting. What are you,
Yeah, a light dusting.
Fantastic.
I like that.
Yeah.
What was that dude that did the stupid salt
Oh, yeah, like
shit.
this.
Oh, Salt Bay, yeah.
Fucking retarded.
So, how many kids do y'all have? Do you have kids together, or did you have them before you were married?
Yours, mine, and ours. Let's get
So
to
currently, like together we have 0. Like we don't plan on going more because I think we all already completed our plans, filled in like. So I have one who is living with us. He is a 12-year-old, and Jean has 3.
Awesome. All grown then, huh?
Pretty much. So 2 of them might be on. I can't see who's on there. If there's a
one of them?
Tori and Misha.
Yes.
Misha Stick. That's his code name.
Yeah, Misha and Tori are both on here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those are my 2 oldest.
And how old are
they are? Oh, geez, now you're going to ask me that in front of me.
No, you're embarrassing
They're
me.
26 and 25.
Okay, good.
Oh, I'm putting this on here.
Or
I'm
20.
You're just checking it.
That is amazing. Hey,
Very
Tori,
true.
you didn't swallow. You're good.
He started as a boneless baby.
That's right. Yeah, and then my
sister
youngest
Mary too.
is 16. Oh, yeah, that's my
Sister
sister.
Mary. And that's
She's actually in the other room.
yeah. I just
Sister
like
Mary, like you're a nun, or you're
Yeah, like-
his sister?
Those testicles
Far
wild.
from it.
Oh no, she's
Far
that
from it.
sister.
Oh,
Is she that sister?
yes,
I can say that because
Yes.
I am that sister.
that sister.
Yes.
Yes.
I am that sister.
I only have one sister, so she's always that sister.
And-
Regardless of what the reference
She's
is,
fun.
being the only sister I have, she's always that
Speaking of
sister.
karaoke, we took his sister and I and him the first time we ever went to go do karaoke. She's like, I don't sing very well, but there's a song I do. She went up there and did When I Think About You, I Touch Myself. And
Nice.
It's the finals.
I like her.
Nice.
It was
And I also have.
never.
Oh, I was just gonna add. And I also have 2 grandchildren from my daughter Victoria. So Nat's a grandmother.
I'm a Baba Natasha.
Oh, well, you look amazing. You're a
What is
Baba.
it? Bubba? Is that what you said?
Baba.
Baba, right?
Baba.
That's a Russian.
Babushka.
B-A-B-A?
That's
Okay.
so
Yeah.
cool.
I thought you said Bubba, like B-U-B-B-A. And I'm like, that's
That's
Baba.
actually like that was like actually a little bit confusing for me because like one of our friends' son, that's his nickname,
Baba.
and I was like, so why are you calling him a about actually, Mr. Interpreting translations,
Yeah.
why are you calling him a grandmother in Russian? And then like I was explained that it's a completely different.
Oh my God.
word.
Now I'm
So,
going to call my son Grandma. Grandma! Grandma, get better!
That's what I'm saying.
Well, we have 3 sons. We have a 13, 11, and 5. So it's fun.
It's
a lot better than
challenging.
other girls.
Yeah.
If I had a head, I would just, take it out, to show respect. But look at Jean.
I know some nationalities love that. Like we have doctors that are from Indian descent, and they're like, 3 sons, your husband must be proud. I'm like, depends on the day. Like some days he's
Not
real
always.
proud of me. Some days he's like, this woman.
Yeah, I blame her. When the kids are great, they're my kids. When they're screwing up, like, your fucking son, do you know what he did today?
It's true.
Yeah.
So
Except I was the calm one growing up, and you were the hellion. So it should be.
I was a perfect angel growing up.
Betty,
I did everything
JD's
I was
mother.
told.
If you're on here, can you call him out for being a pathological liar right now?
I was Oh, I showed up to school whenever I was supposed to. I made great grades. I was in lots of extracurriculars.
Smoking pot is not an extracurricular activity. Oh
Sure
my
it is.
gosh. All right. So since your kids are grown, apparently they have a story they wanted to know about, and I have to hear
I was going to bring that up too.
about the Belize Jello incident. I have to hear the story. I'm so excited. It's been
This
building up for the past 25 minutes, and I'm going to explode.
this is truly an exclusive. So they've heard it referred to through the years. And okay, put me on the dual screen because I got to see your face throughout this story. They've asked me about it through the years, and at 14, 15 years old, I was like, oh no, not until you're 18. At 18, no, when you're 21, no, when you're 25. And I was going to keep going on. And then, they wrote earlier and they're like, you better tell I'm not listening if I don't hear the story. So I said, I will give JD the exclusive on this and Kat the
I
exclusive on
appreciate
it.
that.
Now I'm gonna proceed somewhat methodically, and it's only for the sake of making sure that innocent parties that I want to choose my words carefully as I describe some things. The majority of people involved, I think, are dead already anyway. So, so there should be but I want to, save people some embarrassment. So fact number one about the Belize Jello incident is that it did not happen in Belize, but in two of the four people involved were from Belize. And I thought in naming it, that would be a lot funnier. Fact number two is I cannot say it was not specifically Jello. It was some sort of gelatin-based dessert that was involved in this. So I don't want to disparage the Jello brand for anybody by the time I'm through with the story. Yeah, Mary hasn't known this story.
I'm like, wait a minute. So this is a
So Mary knows this story.
story?
Right. So there was a high level conference / meeting that was very important, both in terms of business and political reason, interests. And obviously, I was involved a lot. Just JD knows, and everybody knows the oil and gas industry. Worked in those companies, as well as had my little side gigs there. And so late one night, a couple of days into the event, I get a phone call from from a man who was one of the people on the business side who was involved in this. And he asked me to come to an off. So we were all sort of at a resort area, but he asked me to go to a private home that wasn't too far. And he phrased it to the effect of, he was calling me because he needed somebody with that could handle a situation with sensitivity and discretion and this and that. And I'm like, obviously you haven't worked very closely with me if you think I'm the right one to call there. So he and a second colleague had some sexual tastes that were to the exotic.
I like how that was worded. Sexual tastes
that were to the exotic. And they were in the course of entertaining. So I would call them transvestites. I don't know if transvestites is still the same. I don't know if transvestites and transgenders is the same thing. From the top up, they were very hot. From the bottom down, not so much.
There are no chicks with dicks, just dudes with tits.
They were elephants.
Right. So they were in the course of entertaining of an event between the four of them at this home that one of them had secured. And one of the gentlemen was dead. One of the business people had died in the course of this activity. And and so when I get there, there's quite the scene of alcohol and whatnot. And there's a big tub of this gelatinous product sort of in the room and overflowing and on the floors and whatnot. And the deceased person was it was overturned in it, but had obviously been face down in it at some point. So I'm trying to get them to explain to me, what happened and what was going on. And they were talking probably very much like I am now, trying to, touch around it. And as I was taking in the whole scene, I was like, look, so the only way I'm going to be able to help you out of this is you need to kind of show me where everybody was when everything happened. And they were like, no. And I'm like, this is the only way, because I can't, if you're not telling me the truth, you're going to wind up in jail here. And And the two gentle people from Belize were not interested in going to jail in the country in which we were. And neither was the other guy. And I'm like, so until I understand and I can explain to somebody, what's going on and this and that. So I essentially kind of made them get back in original positions.
Oh my God.
And
Snap. Did you snap a picture?
No.
And it's got like the visual I have of this whole story is, I don't know if anybody's seen the movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with Johnny Depp.
Never seen it.
Del Toro. But it's basically just a drug movie but it was just like, I got like the overseas version of that in my head, just dark rooms with like a sunken in floor where a pool is, just crazy cigars all over the place, and just the visual I got in my head is just
believe me, it will never match the reality of walking in on that scene. So I was like, so the couple in which both participants were still alive, the tranny was laying back in the tub with her legs back, and the other one was on the floor from her. And so what had happened? So
wait a minute. Say that again. I want to tell stick figures. Hold on.
So that was the one couple. So the one trans person was on their back with their legs up in the air, and the business person in front of them, and then to the side, the deceased person, prior to having been turned over as they were trying to revive him, was doggy style into the gelatinous mess. And
I think Kat is trying to draw that.
It takes a diagram. So.
I don't know if y'all can. You're gonna have to walk that to the camera.
Yeah. That's worth it. Walk it.
Oh yeah, walk that around all the way to the camera. This is way worth it.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't doing that. He was actually penetrating.
Yeah, it wasn't salad tossing. There was actually, the businessman was all up in the other businessman's business.
Well, in tranny, you're right. So businessman 2 was in tranny 2's. They were. No, I didn't support. Just. Obviously, no one was in the mood to see or do any of that, particularly me. So I was like, just basically get in position so I understand. So and so I was like, okay, so when did you realize something went wrong? And are you familiar with the term donkey punch?
Oh yeah.
So
I'm hearing him, so
right.
And so silent.
So tranny 1 donkey punched business person 1 and kept going at it for a little bit. And then, as things were winding down, realized he wasn't, rolling over, and that this might not have been the fun experience that they had thought, and thus then the phone call. Then the first person they thought of was me.
Oh my gosh!
I just This is the funniest death story I have ever heard.
Right.
Okay, we're a podcast. We got to read it out loud because you showed it. Says this sounds like a typical day in AFG when two Indian men go at
It's
it.
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Oh my
So,
goodness. It's
Well,
like,
wait, it gets better or worse, however you want to think about it.
it's got
So
So-
it's not that. It's not the
no,
end,
there's
right?
more.
Oh no. Oh yeah, there's more. So I got them. So now I'm like, okay, now I understand this. So I had a local government official of the host nation in which we were, who I'd built a good relationship over the months prior, and I called him and I called somebody from the embassy, and I was like, you guys, there's a situation, and you got to come over. So they got there, and then I made everybody act it out again.
now that was for your own sick twisted reasons at that point. That was not part of the investigation.
So I was like,
And I appreciate that.
Again, you feel like Satan looking at all of that, like for
Yeah,
the second
so that was
time,
that was another time where I'm like, now I know how Satan feels, right?
Can you do it one more time for the coroner? He wants to see it.
Like, what?
And it was fun. It was funny because the embassy's guys were like, I really don't need this. I'm like,
No, yes, you do. You do need this.
yes,
We all need it.
you really need this.
Lindsay says, but wait, there's more. Like an OxyClean commercial.
Right.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, everybody was very cooperative in understanding the sensitivity of the situation. It took a whole lot of cash to work through some of the issues. And from so now the fun part.
It's for posterity. Just say it with me. For posterity purposes. If you do anything in a hospital that's sketchy, you just say it's for posterity purposes. And half the people don't know what you're talking about, so they'll do it. Okay.
Exactly.
She knows what she's talking about.
So then the news comes that we actually have to transport the body ourselves to the morgue.
No.
And interestingly enough, Kat, as a medical professional, that was not my first incident of having to drop my own body off at a morgue. So I was like, oh, okay, well, we got let's get this together. And at the end of the day, everybody just sort of agreed it was a drowning. And because
so the guy's like death by
accidental
well,
is donkey punch one word or two?
Yeah,
estimated.
and again, it was non-specific enough in so much as there was a pool where they were, and from what the examiner, when he finally got there, told us, it looked like at some moment he inhaled and it went into lungs and everything else. Yeah. And
which
so
is
we're like,
it can be what they call a dry drowning because it's the fluid in the lungs, but they're not like submerged completely.
tomato, whatever. So,
Whatever.
as long as the paperwork was good. And
I'll write it up for you. I'll make it look awesome.
And we stuck businessman bat number 2 on a private plane back home. Tranny 1 and 2, unfortunately, I don't know what happened to them. Businessman number 2 has since died. The local,
they have a really nice beard because JD's got some very sexy gams, and sometimes I question.
no. Yeah, I mean, and it was one of those things. Everybody just sort of said, "Oh my God, he had a drowning." They had a story. I was like, you all deal with it. Don't involve me in whatever your cover story is with your people.
That's what's funny is now every time someone says, "Oh, so and so died, they drowned," JD and I are going to be like,
drowning.
So that was the Belize Jello incident, and like I said, in retrospect, the only part was you sit back and say, "Oh, did you?" These poor people were really traumatized. Did I need them to act it out the number of times that I did? And
yes, you did.
I'm still kind of like, I think it was still worth it.
Yeah, totally worth it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell everybody, I am a medical professional. I have worked in the hospital setting for 15 years. If you are doing something filthy, even if it's just to your wife, and you somehow need hospitalization because of it, lie your stinking ass off. Tell them that you saved a kid from drowning or pushed a dog out of the road.
Let me tell you something.
Lie your ass off, because it becomes not only someone's story on a podcast, but the emergency room people will tell everybody.
Of course.
And I have never looked at a Jello cup the same way again, because that's what they had like, 100 of them that they had put into this
Gene,
little tub they had.
But are you okay to eat jelly or not really?
I like Jello.
Right.
Gene, I make Jello shots like on the regular, and don't ruin it for me.
Don't ruin it for JD.
No, he'll drink them.
Yeah,
Drink them. He'll just the whole time be laughing.
So I hope that story was worth it for
planning ahead. See how she just pulled another martini from the side, because that was already made.
Thank you, assistant.
So I hope Tori and Misha, they're out there. I hope that satisfies them. They now have heard the story. This was much easier than looking into their eyes and telling them. So thank you.
You're welcome. So Tori
says, that's all I'm feeding you when I send you to the home.
Oh, good for you, Tori. Know his place.
Then I'll be telling the story in the home, eating my Jello. Be like, you all know what happened?
This reminds me of a time with two trannies, and they're going to be like, what?
So I've got a good tranny story.
Wait, first I've got to ask. Jason asked a long time ago, Gene, did you have any cool code names while in the CIA?
No. I mean, we joke. I mean, jokingly, I had this ice pick one.
There is one I'm aware about. Your Ukrainian nickname. It's not.
Yeah, that wasn't. But they just call me the Gene.
The Gene. Yeah.
The Gene.
The Gene.
The Gene.
The Gene. You're not a Gene. You're the Gene.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, if other people had code names for me, I don't know. I know there was times. There was one country in particular, so I know like my phone was listened to and all the rest of it. And there was an agent that one of their agents that I had dealt with. So essentially, the prime minister and the president of my country, they would sort of talk through us. So, he would call me up. He's like, I got a message. Da, 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 da. And so I don't know if that was all, if there was any code names, but I knew they always listened to my calls. And so when I got pissed at this guy about something, I would
CIA listening to calls.
No. This is the Foreign Intelligence Service listening in on my phone. And so I would send pictures of my ass, and I'd be like, send this to so-and-so, you snooping bastards, da, da, da. Or I would be on there and I'd be like, when I fucking see him, that blah, blah, blah. I'd be, mad about something. And then I wouldn't hear from him for a while. And finally, one time I had a little party I had invited him to. And I said to him, I'm like, I said, whenever I'm talking bad about you, I said, did they ever play the tapes for you? He goes, sometimes.
Oh, wow.
I was like, good, because I mean every fucking word of it.
That is awesome.
And I have to make a comment that I just realized what Natalja's shirt says. If nobody's paid attention, it says,
we are ready. Yes.
Where were you?
I was dealing with the tech issues, remember?
Gene bought it for her a couple days ago, so before they even knew they were going to be on the show.
So
Isn't that hilarious? And that's when we got shut down. That's why I was making the jokes that the Zuck struck because she's a Russian spy.
Man. So now that I look like a fucking asshole.
But thanks for not looking at her boobs earlier.
Oh.
I think this t-shirt doesn't reflect them.
Oh my, that was the first thing I noticed. That means I was staring at her.
Well, you say you say things without looking at her boobs, but then you send me a link to her modeling page where it's like her nipples are barely covered up. So I'm like, come on, you can't.
Good for you. Good for you. So what's your tranny story? Now I'm curious.
Oh yeah. So I was stationed at Lackland.
Time out. Am I going to be like
you're going to think a lot less
of my
of me.
life choices?
Oh yeah, you're going to think
so
much less of me.
Oh, hey. I'm so glad our kids are old enough.
Hold it.
Do you want to hear it or not?
Kind of.
All right. So stationed at Lackland when I was in the Air Force, and I just moved off base. I've been off base maybe 8 months or something like that, and a buddy of mine was going through a really gnarly divorce. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be a good buddy of yours, and I'm going to take you to the strip club because that's what guys do. You're going through a gnarly divorce, we're taking you to the titty club. So we go to this place. It's a BYOB type place, so it makes that a lot cheaper.
Bring that own booty.
No. I was all raising the roof until I realized what the fuck you said. And I was like, no. So we get there and I'd been to this place multiple times before, and they had a new door girl there, little Asian girl with gigantic, like 50,000 quadruple F fake tits. And he immediately like just falls head over heels for this door girl. And we pay our tab and stuff. And he's like hitting on her. I'm like, come on, dude, let's go back. We're not the tab, but the door charge. I'm like, come on, man, let's go. Yeah, we go to the back and you know, we drink and look at titties and shit like that back there. And
yes, thank you for clarifying what happens there.
yeah. So then there was a one of the strippers that I knew biblically on multiple occasions. You've heard this story before, so don't even look like that. And so I take her home, and he ends up taking the door girl home, and I let him use the spare bedroom at the apartment when we get there. I didn't make it past the living room, and I'm making out with this girl, and then I hear from the other room, dude, what the fuck? And then I see this really hot Asian chick with big fake tits and a huge cock running through my living room.
Oh my god!
Nice.
Actually,
huge.
Yes, his BB was huge.
No, actually, I have a similar story, even like, you know, from Amsterdam
so
also.
I couldn't make fun of him for it because it was very convincing.
And you were hooking up with a stripper at the time, so your taste is questionable. And then he wonders why I made him get an STD test before we got in a relationship.
Now we know.
Oh, no, I will completely admit that I made lots of stupid decisions in my life.
Hey, but he was clean, people.
Absolutely.
Well, your friend in Amsterdam.
Yeah, so like, there was like another story about like, if we started this topic, then, you know, I think and it's a short one. So, you know, like red light district in Amsterdam, like the girls are standing under red lights. You can pick any of them, then go inside, pay 50 euros, I think 50 or whatever. And like, and then things happen. And I think it's like the average, like it's like 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes. But, you know, and I had a friend who was working there. And he's like, I didn't know there are sections. So there are sections for girls, there are sections for gays or whatever. He's like, I'm just working, you know, I want to have some fun, you know. He's like, and there is this gorgeous girl, right? And she's like, I think she's half black, half white. So she's like looking like gorgeous and everything. And he goes inside, like, you know, waiting for something special. And she greets him with a smile, you know, starts to undress. And then she starts speaking, saying, you know, I don't have a pussy. And the poor guy was and the guy was like,
JD that says that.
I do not have a pussy.
And the poor guy was like, you have to warn me somehow. But
like Schwarzenegger, I don't have a pussy.
No pussy here.
No pussy.
Oh my god, that is.
Don't follow me if you want a pussy.
But you know what? And this poor George Stan, he's like, no, I'm not doing that. And he's like, you know, it's God punished me for like bad behavior, you know, or something.
I think it's more follow me if you want a dick.
The people that do the post-production and the transcripts for this show are going to have a fucking field day with this.
Oh my god.
Hey, just a quick reminder, if you are here and you are watching, please go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give them permission to see who you are, because
Especially
we can't see your name otherwise.
Someone just put, we've all been there.
But I have no clue. It just says Facebook user. So apparently all Facebook users have been there.
We've all been there. That's Zuck.
And then, also, if you are watching this, please share it to your personal page so other people can watch and join in on this fucking shit show.
My only other one was a guy. I was in living in the Netherlands, and I was getting ready to take a trip to Singapore. I think it was my first trip there. But you know, I do my background when I'm going what's what, what's where. And one of my Dutch colleagues, he thought he was being funny, and he's like, when you're there, Gene, you must go to Orchid Street. This is where all the beautiful women are, and blah, blah, blah. And I know it was all the bars on Orchid Street are where you go if you want to pick up a tranny. And I was like, oh, okay, Nico. Yeah, thanks. That sounds, good advice, good advice. So I take the trip, I come back, and first thing he's like, did you go to Orchid Street? I go every night. He's like, really? I said, yeah. He goes, and you liked it? I go, what's not to like? I'm like, those were some of the most beautiful friggin' women, in the world.
Right.
And he's like, oh, yes, they're very beautiful. I mean, I go, tall, thin, the skin is perfect, beautiful hair, makeup. I said, everything's perfect about them. He's like, yes. I said, and I'll tell you, they had some of the biggest balls I've ever seen on Broad.
She's a built-in coat rack right there.
It was unbelievable.
True.
The manscaping was impeccable.
Manscaping was impeccable.
He even shaved down there. It was amazing. All right, let me go to the next thing before Jake gets
are we-
on to me. Yes, we are. Are you ready?
Scroll up.
Oh, you
Not that
scrolled
far up.
all the Joseph.
That far down.
Oh my god.
Right there.
So we're gonna start with unpopular opinion. If anyone watches the show knows that we do a couple of things on every show. So we're gonna start with unpopular opinion. And because we're on the topic of strippers and transvestites, I'm gonna go first.
Because you're a
My
stripper transvestite?
Unpopular opinion is if a stripper bites you, you have every right to bite her back. I
Only if you're a
almost
girl.
got kicked out.
You
once.
can't
She
get away
bit
with that
me
as a dude.
first.
As a girl, you can get away with that. As a dude, no.
Yeah.
She bit me first.
So she beat you first, and you're automatically becoming a stripper. So like
Like
say,
a vampire?
Vampire, right?
Hold on, yeah, hold on.
That's not how strippers
That
are
was a
born.
thing.
She thought it was
Maybe
respectable.
maybe
It's like
reveals
whatever they do to you, you're
I'm a
allowed to do
stripper,
that.
right?
It was my first time in a strip club, and I was like, "She's nibbling on me. I nibble on her back. Oh, this is how it works." And JD's like, "No,
You're not allowed
stop
to bite
biting the
strippers."
strippers."
I got to explain. Strippers aren't born, like a vampire. They're made through years and years of bad decisions.
No, daddy issues.
Yes.
And daddy is just.
No,
That's what
we
one
all
friend says
know
my service
strippers
dog is
only
for.
go there to pay for nursing school. That's the only reason to strip.
I know a lot of nurses that did not go and be strippers.
Yeah, but you go to talk to any stripper. I'm in nursing school.
Yeah,
I'm
they
just
do.
using this to pay for my schooling.
They do. They
A buddy
do.
of mine.
No, you're not.
I have a service dog, and often you go places and people ask, what's the dog's job, which is the appropriate question for them to ask. And he said, you got to tell people she hunts down girls with low self-esteem and daddy issues.
Oh my god!
Like, oh,
And
that's,
you're like, and he pointed at you. I'm just saying.
that's right.
So, what's your unpopular opinion?
Oh man, I never even thought. Man, I was trying to think of one and I didn't. So my unpopular opinion, off the cuff, is
Oh no, this is gonna be bad.
no, yeah. I don't know. Do you have one, Gene?
Honestly, I always say people who enjoy blue cheese don't actually enjoy blue cheese. They're just trying to be chic and relevant.
I would agree with that because blue cheese is disgusting.
That is absolutely fucking awful.
Totally agree with
Oh my god, I don't even want to start because I love it.
Oh, no! He thinks you're pretentious.
And this is how marital problems begin.
Right
And
here,
the worst,
Papa tells me Barstool.
and actually, the worst is like when I go to my son just to speak after having blue cheese. He's like, "Mom, is there a dustbin in your mouth or what?" Thank God, at least Gene doesn't say something like that. But my son's like, did you eat trash or something? No, it's just cheese.
I am so glad my sister's not on here. She loves blue cheese, and anytime I can make comments, I swear it's almost like she's married to blue. She loves blue cheese more than she loves her husband. She will stick up for blue cheese, but I'd say something like, "Your husband's an asshole." She goes, "He really is." But blue cheese, she's like, "How dare you? It's delicious." Like, what?
I think it's a psychological thing.
I'll do my unpopular opinion about food. Is asparagus is absolutely fucking gross. Everybody seems to love asparagus.
I love asparagus.
I think it tastes like
I love. I love how asparagus makes your pee smell.
And actually, it never made my pee smell, so I keep on eating it to try that out. When my pee will suddenly smell, and it never does. I was
I'm
thinking
like
maybe
the
it's a
only
baby.
like semi-responsible adult that thinks asparagus is gross. Like I
That's
don't know.
not true.
Most everybody thinks I'm retarded when I say that it's gross.
No, we think you're retarded because you like, what is that nasty stuff that's like grass?
Artichoke.
Artichoke.
Fucking awesome.
Artichoke's disgusting.
I don't get artichokes. I don't get them.
Thank you. Tastes like grass.
All right, you're off the fucking
You
show.
know what he does?
I mean,
Garlic butter and eats it. You just like garlic butter.
right?
You
You're just having garlic. But I just don't. I don't get it. It's like, and then you stuff it, and I'm like,
But you also don't like olives. That's why.
I don't get it. Yeah, I know, but I don't like olives. But the artichoke itself, I just don't get.
it tastes like grass. And there's a lot of work for no food. You like scrape your teeth against a blade of grass. I don't know. It's weird. So Mark says that if a stripper bites you, it's passive aggressive sexual tension.
It's actually probably rabies.
No. It's scabies.
Scabies.
Jason thinks that asparagus is fancy celery. Oh man, that is
Oh man, the crowd is actually
they're
pretty
good.
good.
Killing us. All right, then let's move on to Would You Rather and see what the comments are.
All right.
Mercy. All right, do you want to go first on Would You Rather?
All right, so would you rather go the rest of your life without coffee or the rest of your life without steak?
Steak.
Coffee.
Ooh.
I would go without. I would go without steak.
Because I tried already going without coffee.
I would rather go without steak. Coffee's like my vice, man. Like I could give up drinking, no problem, but coffee.
Coffee's part of my day. It's part of my routine.
It's familiarity. It's
so. What would you give up?
Man, I really think I would give up coffee. I love my red meat. I want to be like John Wayne and die with 5 pounds of
other meat.
Eating my
Other meat.
There's other meat.
Yeah, but there's not. You can't make filet mignon out of pork.
You heard his tranny story. There's lots of meat out there.
Meat and Jello.
That's right. Meat and Jello. Yeah. Big plate of steak and Jello.
Can I get a tube steak and some lime Jello, please?
Have some sausage and Jello.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people. Oh, oops, not that one. So must have coffee. Mark even said he can give up steak, must have coffee. So there's a lot of them so far that are willing to give up a steak.
So what's your would you rather?
Would you rather stay for the rest of your life the same way now you are physically, or stay the same way you are now financially?
Physically.
I would say physically as well. Because I'm, fingers crossed, gonna win the lottery.
Yeah,
that's what Gene always
being a fat lazy fuck will be a lot easier when I'm rich, and I'm a rich fat lazy fuck.
That's right.
She'll love me more.
Exactly.
She loves them love handles a lot more when they're rapping hundreds.
A lot of people are saying physically, so I don't know if you're really happy with yourselves or you're like, come on, more money. But
That's
either
right.
way, I love y'all, every single one of y'all.
Yeah.
But he loves his meat.
Yeah, I love my meat.
Oh, her husband. Then my husband was talking.
Again, I just want to apologize for the people that are doing post and doing all the audio editing and transcriptions after this.
And they asked, someone asked what the question was. The question was, would you rather stay the same way you are now physically or stay the same way you are now financially?
Hey.
So keep your finances the same or keep your body the same.
And tell your husband to shut his dirty fucking mouth, but say it really nicely and say, I said hi. Hi.
And say it on the inside. Okay?
Yeah.
Like
so, JD, I got a would you rather for you.
Oh.
Yay.
Would you rather go back into the military now at the rank that you were when you left, or be donkey punched in the back of the head by a tranny into a pool of Jello.
Babe, answer.
Can you go get me a coin real quick? I need to flip that coin.
Is this enough?
Well, saying is I got out at the same rank that I joined.
Tranny's looking mighty fun right
I was
now.
high speed. I made E1 twice. Oh man, yeah, I would definitely go back and get donkey punched. I was thinking us.
Wait, I can arrange that. Okay.
What are you talking about? You donkey punch me in my sleep. That's how you wake me up.
I always have
Alarm,
dreams.
bitch.
I always have dreams that we did what we did last night, but when you're me and I'm you. So. And that's a wrap for us.
Oh God.
Fun.
And in local news,
So your son had asked how you got the name Ice Pick. I think we need to know. So was there like a story behind Ice Pick? Was there like an incident with an ice pick? Like how did that happen?
Yeah, there was a an incident disarming somebody who had an ice pick. And then the person, the person telling the story was making the story out to be much more than it was. And, and he was very excited about it. He's like, and then Gino rolled him over. He took that, but it was like Gino the ice pick all of a sudden. And then it stuck.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
you had mentioned something to me off the air about, like, Russian mobsters and murder and all that shit happening at the opera houses. I want to hear some of them stories.
Look at her face.
The thing is, like, our stories don't probably involve trans,
Yeah.
Even
No
though
problem.
maybe
Oh, no,
I don't
we're-
know the background.
We moved away from trans.
Yeah.
We're on
Yeah.
murder now.
Next vice. Carry on. Next vice.
Yeah, I don't care.
I had a story. No, I had a story. Like, we still actually, like, the people in the opera, they still joke. So if you need like new teeth, like there is one guy who used to be an ex-hockey player. Now he's the superstar baritone. So, just go to Yanis and ask, like, to punch you in your face so you can get new teeth. So the story was like, actually, it was my ex from the opera who got traumatized on stage because Yanis, he was, and I think Yanis was very, very upset about this fact. So Yanis is like the star baritone, and he was playing the title of Eugene Onegin in Tchaikovsky's opera. And like there is a scene where like he asks, I don't know how it's called in English. So for example, when you quarrel and then you call in for the duel, how it's called in English properly.
Challenge him to a duel.
Challenge to duel, right? So, and like the guy who he challenged for a duel, so he took him like that, threw onto my ex who was like standing on the back, and like, and my ex got like front teeth like completely crashed and everything.
Okay.
And actually broke in the end. The guy who was like challenged for a duel, so he was a tenor, and like he, after 5 minutes, he had to come back on stage and sing like his famous Lansky piece before he gets killed during this duel. And that was like not very funny, but like, and I was actually like, besides all that, like, what's going on and everything. So they called an ambulance during this 5 minutes, and the ambulance came, and like they are asking the tenor, and he has like, bleeding coming out of his head and everything. And like, are you okay? So, okay, I will just go sing my 8 minutes, I'll come back, got shot, like, and then you can take me, wherever you watch, like, pretty fine. So that was the case, right? And so yeah, like with my ex, we ended up just sitting in an emergency room for teeth, and like that was like a very long night. So I think he got a temporary solution, but then opera covered all his teeth expenses. So that's why we're still joking nowadays. If you have problems with teeth, just make it like just ask somebody from your colleagues on stage to punch you in the face accidentally, so you can have it like fixed for you.
But I think
you could have saved so much money on your Invisalign, and if you just let me punch you in the face.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
That's what
like
I got
so
from the story.
Yes, if you people are wearing braces and everything, you can just work in the opera house and ask somebody to help you.
I'll just like if I hurt my back, I'll just fall at work. And now that I said that on air, I'm going to wind up hurting my back at work, and they're not going to believe me.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's a problem.
Everything said is for entertainment purposes only.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Disclaimer.
I think the thing I was writing about was the idea, when it came to opera, and people kind of are standoffish about it, and the way we talk about it and the way I talk about it with people is about the idea that all the stories, they're just these stories, full of sex and murder and betrayals. And all of this stuff that we love, we're like,
and we
that's
actually
that's
have one
the stories
researcher
that's in it.
who figured out there was like lots of BDSM like in the opera, and he like actually wrote the complete research studies and the book.
I'll tell you, it's called Deviant Opera.
And
he
It's called what?
Deviant Opera.
Deviant Opera. Okay, because I'm an avid reader. I'm that might not be my shtick. But
No, but you know what? It's interesting because
I did 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, same thing.
Same in the opera.
There you go.
He goes through some of the history of like the composers and their fetishes, and Nat's got a new what was it about Mozart and poop jokes?
Oh yeah, so like there was so that was like a thing, so there were letters of Mozart and people still keep silent about them. All of the people who really dive into his bio, they know that. So he was into the poop jokes and like ass jokes and everything, and there is a complete set of letters between I think him and his sister or half sister or whoever, like where he jokes like that, literally. So he wasn't that nice in general, so he was a little bit pervert.
I mean, I have 3 boys, so I have a poop joke. If y'all actually I have 2.
Real quick, we had a guest. They're having to sign off early. Yes, at 8:00 Central every Tuesday is the podcast. So sorry to interrupt the stories. I just wanted to
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you for tuning in, Jamie. Hopefully we see you next week.
So the first one is, did you know that diarrhea is genetic?
No.
It runs in your genes.
So
it probably runs in my gene also, right?
It was running before the show, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
And
I can. I was just gonna go back to the whole deviant opera like theme. I can definitely see operas like behind the scenes just being
everybody banging
chaos. Just
oh, don't ask it.
I know, like in olden times, that actresses were seen as being promiscuous. They were unmarried and they were basically free game. So I don't know if you're thinking that because it goes back to that.
Yeah, I mean, even look at not just operas, but older plays and older theater going back like Shakespeare. Everything was very sexual, even if written in innuendo.
It was all men.
Or go back even farther. Go back to ancient Rome and ancient Greece when the plays were even were extremely sexual in content, and I mean that's where the Roman orgies came from, was from the plays, and then it spilled over into society.
Yeah.
So
but Shakespeare's plays were all played by men. It was illegal to have women on stage, but yeah, sure.
But yeah, they were still. I mean, doesn't mean they weren't fucking banging.
True.
Being gay isn't a new thing. It's been around for eons.
Very valid.
Spartans, I think it's like the most famous. Spartans. So they used women only for breeding, literally, right?
Exactly.
That's it.
You're asking me for. I'm not a fucking Spartan.
You're better in history than me.
It's okay. JD uses me for the same thing, just practicing.
One day I'll actually get good at it.
One day you'll get it
and
right.
I have a little secret, but probably you know about that. So in general, actresses, singers, showmen, that wasn't a noble profession until I think 19th or even 20th century.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just like whatever, like it was not noble. Like people were like, it wasn't even considered to be serious.
Yeah, I mean, if they were great, they were revered, but they weren't taken seriously in society. They were outcasts. Even still, regardless of how famed they were outcasts. And they were seen as lower. And it's really sad.
And I'll tell you,
celebrities, and they rule the fucking country, and they think they know everything about politics. It's crazy. Wow.
And that was so funny, when I was working in the choir, and some people, they have such a high self-esteem, right? And I literally, I wanted to say to some of them, like, just come back to the reality. You're not saving anybody's lives. You're just entertainment. Let's be realistic about that. But I was like, I tried to keep silent.
Right. You're not doing fucking fusion. Or
right.
anything.
And that's what, and it's just like amazing how people overestimate themselves. And like, look, I mean, I don't want to sound bad or whatever, but like after COVID hit, nothing was going on for a while. Nobody died because they couldn't go to the theater. Okay, we don't know. Maybe, somebody did it.
Right.
That's true.
But yeah.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
But it's, it's those attitudes. It's like, some of the singers and people that we know have been like, oh, my friend's a soprano, and they won't speak the day before a performance, and they won't, and they cover the throat, and they drink the tea, and they do all this and that.
So
and she's got a coach who like sits there and smoke, and we've stood outside with people,
Are we ready?
With top soloists.
Right.
I don't want to
on
name
stage.
names.
Yeah, I had a cigarette stuck in the strings of my guitar when I was singing and playing on stage, smoking the whole time. It helped.
Well,
I screamed and yelled, and
I'll
it
be
was
honest.
fine.
For COVID, I am a respiratory therapist. It is a respiratory process, but I will be honest. I have not worked the COVID front line in months. They moved me over to neonatal intensive care unit. They kept me clean. But that's the thing. Is as soon as I see someone making a lot of money doing something that they don't need a college degree for, I literally go, I went to college and I saved lives, and they're making way more money than I am. And also, medical professionals, really funny. They trust us with y'all's lives, but they don't trust us with the thermostat. They actually lock that thing, and they don't allow us to adjust it. And I'm like, so I can't adjust the room temperature, but I can save your life. So,
but I used to say the same thing in dealing between the corporate and the government worlds, and in briefing executives. I'm like, you pay, or you give your lowest paid employees the most access to your most sensitive resources and information. The janitors, the cleaning people that come through. The shredder guy, these jobs where people are moving in and out, and you're paying them the least amount of money. And if you don't think somebody's paying them more to tell them something about what's going on in your office, you're a fool.
Or how about even on an even more micro level is being in the military when you first start. If you're not married, you have to live on base, and they will trust you. Like SPs, you were trusted with firearms, with live ammo, and watching billions of dollars worth of assets and thousands of people. But God forbid you had a coffee pot and a hot plate in your room.
Right.
Or a candle.
Oh, wait a minute. How about the fact that you're 18 years old? You can fight and die for your country, but you can't drink alcohol.
That's probably a smarter idea, though.
Right.
I mean, but in hindsight,
it probably is a good move.
I am now.
Yeah. And I'll tell you,
I've always been promoted. I said you should be able to start drinking at 16 and not get a driver's license until you're 21.
Agree.
So just
Very
real
valid.
quick, again, if you're watching, please go to StreamYard.com/Facebook so we can see who you are, because somebody asked me this question. How do you get a nun pregnant? Go ahead, JD, ask me. And I'm going to ruin it because I know the answer. You fucking.
How do you get it?
I want to know. I want to know.
So I want to know who asked that,
Joe,
actually.
clearly. Is there a different?
I don't know if there's a different answer, but
either that or JD gone a nun pregnant and she just found him.
No.
Look.
I don't even have anything waiting to say. No.
JD and I have been together for 18 years. As long as the kid is over 18, I don't fudge.
That's right.
Not even one fudge. If that kid is under 18, we're going to have problems.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Yeah, we really are.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Somebody was farming some shit out when I wasn't watching.
That's right.
Why are you looking at me? It's going to be your kid, not mine DNA.
Because that's how our last one came around. You farmed shit while I was passed out drunk.
Oh.
Mother?
While he was face down in a bowl of Jello.
No.
Yep, there was steak and Jello involved.
No,
That's
there
right.
wasn't. You know what happened? I said, hey, JD, I'm ovulating. Can you avoid me the next 24 hours? He's like, yeah, I can. And he didn't.
No, I can resist everything but temptation.
I said
Or
no.
Mm.
Or maybe you were checking out whether like the save day is really a save day, so double checking, right?
Just confirming.
Really for science.
Posterity purposes.
Posterity.
Right. just to double check, I want to make sure. I want to make my own experiment,
And that's what we in the biz call a callback.
Right.
We have a lot of those. Did you notice that?
Oh, yeah.
We're really good at callbacks.
You are. I'm just riding along.
I'm really good at callbacks. That guy, whoever said at the beginning, this is a JD show, maybe, or the cat show. Maybe he's right.
But it's cool that she brought up Tchaikovsky earlier when she was talking. That's like my second favorite composer.
Oh my
I
God.
love.
You're
like,
fancy.
that's one of those things I can put on.
Hans Zimmerman's your first.
Yes, Hans Zimmer is my first.
Called
favorite.
it. Called it. Hans Zimmerman's his first.
He's good.
Ah.
And but yeah, Tchaikovsky to this day, like my parents used to put me to sleep
What's that,
with
1812?
Ah.
It was 1812 overture, and then if you
1812
flipped it
overture is
over, it was
his
the Capriccio d'Italia. And I'd rotate between those two every night going to sleep as a little kid on vinyl back with the old 78 or whatever the big one is.
And you're living proof. They say that, when you listen to classical music and opera and such, that it sparks a creativity and intelligence, and people are more intelligent and generally more successful in their lives that listen to classical music. And you are a living example of that.
I think I would equate myself more with the luck of the first living thing that sprung from the primordial ooze. It was just luck of the draw.
JD likes to tell me that it's me. That I'm the reason for his success, that he'd be in jail or dead.
Oh, absolutely.
If I hadn't met him.
Oh,
and
yeah.
actually,
like all jokes aside, yeah, I was at 23 years old. I was on an extreme downward spiral that was going much faster than it should have. And yeah.
I hear you. If it wasn't
angry, disturbed, JD was really hot.
if I didn't,
I can fix him.
If I didn't meet Nat when I did, I'd still be sitting in this cute little 1-bedroom bachelor pad that I had in a little village in upstate New York on the Erie Canal, going to the bar every day with a buddy of mine from the military, walking the dog, eating what I want, doing
such
what I
a
want.
horrible life you live.
What I want. What is this?
So you just called her Nat, which is obviously short for Natalja.
Yeah.
Plus, I also need to mention that. So 2 of his best buddies got recently divorced. And he got married, but some of the buddies are still married, but like 2. And I was like, oh my God, that's such a pity that they got divorced. And and he had something nice to tell about
she's like, oh, it's too bad they're divorced now. And I said, yeah, it could have been 3 of us all could have been single at the same time.
Oh my God.
She's gonna slap me later on laughing at that joke.
Honestly, my eye twitches at the idea of JD and Eric as single at the same time. I'm like, no,
right?
The world's not ready.
The funny thing is, if Eric and I were single together, hanging out together, neither one of us would score because neither one of us have any fucking game, and we'd be too trashed,
right?
Laughing too hard to go and do anything.
Because neither one of you can hold your alcohol.
I can hold my alcohol.
No, nothing better. So happy.
Mm-hmm,
what I was
You're just telling in front of the camera, yeah. And then like,
I say it all the time.
Is outside of Nat, the shortening for Natalja. Is what other like pet names do y'all have for each other that are kind of behind the scenes?
Go ahead, tell them all your pet names for me.
Oh my God, I think our dog has more names than you, but still, in my phone. I have Gene the Ballbuster for him. Some people, they have Honey, Hubby, whatever. My life, he's like Gene the Ballbuster. Like everybody who looks at my wife, like, what the heck is going on, That's like the main probably, yeah. And like, why do you love me?
Because you're not a ballbuster.
Why do I love you?
Because I am a ballbuster.
So that's pretty much how we keep on going.
Perfect.
That is so awesome. Like that's gonna go on the tagline on the post.
And I just want to point this out: Ballbuster for short, BB.
Bring it up. Everything comes full circle.
A callback.
We already said that.
I know. I was calling back the callback.
Yeah.
She's gonna change it. BB.
So what pet names do you have for her outside of just the shortening of her name to Nat?
I mean, really,
he calls me nice. It's
love, sweet darling. All those.
What do you say behind her back?
Huh?
Me? Asshole, moron. I hate you. You're mean to me.
That's what she says to me.
Yes. Really? I mean, truly.
Stop. You have murder. Why do you have murder in your eyes? I'm like, how do I have murder in my eyes? I'm just looking at you.
You're being mean to your wife. That's my favorite.
Yeah, you're being mean to you. Stop being mean to your wife.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm the easiest person in the world to get to,
Oh, that looks small. That is lies.
She's like, one day she was mad at me. She's like, "Are you mental?" And I'm like, "Yes."
He just acknowledges
You're
what
asking.
Yeah,
See,
why would-
that's how you stop a fight. Is you just say something so fucking absurd in the middle that it just throws
Right.
everything off, and you
Right.
can't concentrate past that point. It's
So
like
now you can't even put napkin in your pants without people questioning you?
No, the problem with us is I know where the complaint department is. That's the thing. So that's like if you ask like what is our marriage advice in general to other couples, you need to have a complaint department.
Everybody needs to know where the complaint department is.
Where is that?
Right on the other side of the fucking door. Go out that door, all your fucking problems are solved. You know?
are you
Well,
taking
send-
notes?
Do
You
y'all
want
watch? Do y'all watch The Office?
No.
Anybody
I
watch
know what
The
it is, but I have never watched. But I know what it is. Yeah, I've heard.
He said, "Oh, put that in the special file, which is the trash can.
Oh,
Right. Something like that. Yeah.
File
Yeah.
that special file."
special file. No, that's
We have a 5-year-old.
We have a 5-year-old who's trying to sneak in. Come,
no. This is not a 5-year-old conversation.
Aw.
stand by.
The dog was trying to get up here earlier. I
I think the dog
I
is
guess
game
had
over.
to wave her off.
Say hi. He's gonna come wave.
I
and then-
think her nicknames are
Oh,
funnier
okay.
than our like are
Yeah.
pretty much boring.
Oh.
Aw,
all right, he can't hear
hello.
anything, so you can say whatever
Nuts
you want.
game. Nuts. You wanna come? Nuts. Come here.
Come here.
No? Come here, Pooch.
look, they're gonna
Come
put
here,
their-
Pooch.
Come here, let's meet the
Come here,
next.
Pooch.
Come here.
Listen, Nuts. Come here. Go see Daddy.
Come here.
Come here. Oh, it's a Nuts.
Come here.
Oh, it's a
You
Pooch.
see the doggy?
Did you see their baby?
You see the doggy?
Here we go, babies.
Yeah.
And now just start with her nicknames. That's a funny thing.
So her name's Naomi.
Mhm.
Her name is Naomi. Since I'm the one with headphones on,
You say
Her
hi,
street
Naomi?
her street name is the Nets.
is what?
The Nets.
The Knits.
Yeah, NITZ.
Okay, so her street name is the Knits.
And then we call her Pooperella.
Pooperella.
And then she every night she eats her dinner, and then she comes up and she gets in my face, and I have to essentially burp her.
Because
and
he's the alpha dog.
then
That's
she's
what he
a
calls
then
it.
we call her a piggy for when she burps.
Then she's a fartarella.
She's a fartarella, a pooperella,
Pooperella. There's
or Pierrella.
Pooperella. Hey, you.
A lot of rellas.
Time for you to go to bed so we can continue doing what we're doing, sir.
Hmm.
You can go to bed too.
No,
Love
I think
you.
she
Night.
wants to kiss.
Make
You
good
wanna
life.
kiss Papa?
All right,
You wanna
so,
go lay down.
All right, go.
Go.
that is our
Go.
youngest tax deduction.
No worries.
So everyone, that's how you know that this is actually live. We're interrupted by pets and animals
There you
and
go.
empty glasses because someone's neglecting their one job on this show.
Jesus, I'm 83.
JD, what kind of beer is that?
It is
Crawford Bach, and
Bach.
it's mine, and he's drinking.
Oh,
Ours.
It's mine.
It's ours.
JD likes Shiner Bach. Crawford Bach's my drink.
love Shinerbach.
Crawford Bach's better.
Oh, is it?
It's
Unpopular opinion: Crawford Bach is way better than Shiner Bach. People, go
Ooh.
try it, and you tell me what you think next week.
yeah, no.
We haven't been to Houston, been to Texas in a while, or she hasn't been to
I
Texas yet.
haven't
I
been
should
at
say.
all. Yeah.
So we gotta get that way. Normally,
need to fix it
Normally, I
someday.
get to Houston.
Well, I'll have to get your address. I'll have to ship you some.
Do you have a Bucky's out there?
Yeah, we do.
Well, we don't have one here. There, I think the closest one
Not-
is.
yeah, San Antonio.
Oh,
North
okay.
of San Antonio and
Yeah, we're like 2.5
Braunfels.
hours away from
Braunfels.
like the closest one.
I'm
I know.
for
Oh, okay.
But still, they're
Because
in.
I keep waiting for a friend friends I have there to mention go and buy one because Nat wants some beaver.
Oh, the beaver nuggets.
Beaver nuggets.
They're
Yes.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So good.
There's a lot of beavers.
Can you
Yeah.
do what I tell you
Nat-
to?
Nat loves some beaver.
I do too.
Hey, Jason, who goes, he's the one I told you about that has the other podcast. And
That's
he
me,
picks up his
Jason.
stuff at the same time. But yeah,
Oh, and Manny said, "Please don't be blasphemous." He said blasphemy, but I think he means blasphemous. But yeah, no, it is better.
he says, please don't blaspheme, which is
Blaspheme. Oh, look,
the proper terminology.
look, people, look, people. This is not Catholic school.
No, a Catholic school would be swearing a lot more.
we'd all be molested.
I don't want to bring this up topic,
Oh,
but
that's
it's
a good
funny
You
story.
haven't had a Steiner Bach in 4
Yeah.
years. How do you know that a Crawford Bach isn't better? Just saying, Manny. Get both, and I'm telling you,
Shiner is better, but Crawford Bach is one of the
Crawford Bach
few
is
drinks.
better.
It's one of the few beers we can actually agree on, and I enjoy it. It's a good beer, but Shiner's better. It's just
We just
Quick-
don't agree on a lot.
Quick kid Catholic school story for you. You want to tell?
Yay!
No, you'll tell.
Oh.
You'll remember that.
So obviously, we enjoy throwing the term ball buster around.
I didn't notice.
So when our Nat's son, we send him to Catholic school, and at one point, she was having to catch up with the teacher, and his one of the reasons we decided to bring him to, aside from being Nat's son, is was because his English wasn't strong.
Yeah.
So,
native Russian speaker.
her ex, that part of the family sort of had the discussion. Well, would it be better for him to just finish school, in Latvia, or come here? So obviously came here. We have him in Catholic school, and so the teacher was talking to him about his English and saying how well he was progressing and how important like the schoolyard talk is, and that she had sat down and had a discussion with him. They were talking about bullies, and she said, "Do you know what a bully is?" And he said, "Yes, it's a ball buster." And she's like, "So he's picking up things in the schoolyard," and I'm like, "Oh yeah."
And I
yeah,
say,
yeah.
That damn schoolyard.
That damn schoolyard.
Just a question. Did he say douchebag also?
Nothing. This one we haven't told
No,
him.
he
right?
doesn't know
Yeah,
douchebag
yeah.
yet.
But
Yeah.
he
But
was.
then he's taught all the kids how to swear in Russian.
Oh yeah, all the kids know.
So all this
I want to
school
learn to swear in
Yeah,
Russian.
how do you say fuck you in Russian?
Idi nachuy.
Yeah,
Iri nachui?
it's like it's more go fuck yourself, but it's like offensive there.
Oh, I like that even better.
Yeah, so it's literally sending somebody to some kind of a random dick. That's it. If you
Yeah.
translate it literally.
Oh, I'm totally saying that in English now. I'm sending you to random
He's
dicks.
sending you to a random
There is
dick.
another one, Idziv Pizdu, which says like, go to the pussy. So, but so sending somebody over to a random dick is worse than sending somebody to a pussy.
Right.
Just like
Oh, yeah,
Russian.
Girls and guys enjoy pussy.
And there's
Yeah.
suka, which is bitch, but it's like prison bitch.
Yeah.
Because there's
Ah.
another word for bitch. Bitch, right?
Mm,
Isn't there a different type of bitch or something?
nah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was
maybe
wrong.
I can't really.
And
Блядь is the most.
Bled, fuck.
Yeah, that's like fuck. Yeah, everybody's
What is it?
using. Блядь,
What
it's fuck. Yeah, that's
What?
like proper. Yeah,
Блядь.
but блядь in general it means hooker, if you literally translate it from Russian. So, but yeah, I mean, but the thing is, like, then.
But that's the difference between like somebody who's a translator and someone who's an interpreter.
Mhm.
Because a translator, if somebody's like blah 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 blet, they would be like da da hooker da da da, and it wouldn't make sense. But an interpreter would understand when you're saying blet, you're saying
use
fuck
swearing, yeah.
instead of right in the right context. Yeah,
I told you to go hooker yourself.
you go hooker yourself. I don't know what they want you to do.
I know that's why, like, yeah.
On that amazing lesson.
Russian coaching with Matt.
So we had an amazing lesson in Russian tonight, which was unexpected, but very welcome. We'd like to say, let me get this right. Ednaki. Oh God.
Idinahui.
Edinakui.
Perfect. Oh my God, you get you so far.
Edinakui to all of our people who are watching right now. We love you so much.
I'll just say it. I'm sending you to some dick.
right. It's some random dick. It's like not
Yes,
even
I'm
nobody
sending you
knows.
to
Right.
random dick.
Edinakui, I'm texting it out the way it sounds.
I also another about like we are talking about Netherlands today, and I have a funny story about Netherlands again about like this nahui. So there is actually a street in the Netherlands and in the city where I was having my internship. So it says Van Nahui's plane. And I actually made a picture of that and everything and sent over to my Russian friends. And they're like, so now we know where this random dick, is situated.
That's their red light
Awesome.
district.
Right.
But Gene and Natalja, thank you all very, very much.
Thank
We just
you.
wanna wrap it up.
Thanks.
Everybody that
Thank you.
tuned in, thank you very much for tuning in. We do apologize for some of the technical issues we had as far as it streaming to the Tales of the Barstool page. Apparently it went everywhere else just fine. It was just that one link was getting broke for some reason.
Who knew?
Again, apologies.
Apologies.
Yes, apologies. But we are going to wrap it up. Thank you again for coming. Hang around. We're going to talk to you a little bit after the show.
Right. And look for Natalja on Apple Music, Spotify. Let me get my plug in. Apple Music, Spotify, all the major streaming services. Natalja Sticco. Download her shit. Follow her.
That's why I'm married to him.
They never took it.
Ah.
So yeah, and thank you to Warhorse Legacy Foundation at warhorselegacy.com for sponsoring the show, along with all of our other sponsorships. We'll see y'all next week on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Time with our next guest. Next week is for May the 4th, so it'll be Star Wars Day.
Themed. Yes,
So don't forget to tune in for that.
Even our drink will be Star Wars themed.
Oh
my God.
Oh, good girl.
Yes, thank you.
So
Dang.
we will see y'all next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thanks.
Thank you.